Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time of year. I have the Christmas tree. No presents under there yet. Still waiting for. I've written my list. I've checked it twice. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, we'll have some prezzies under there in no time. But ladies and gents, welcome to the final Whisky Wednesday of 2023. What a year it's been. It's been a mad one for Murray McDavid this year. The year that we have produced the most amount of whiskey ever. We have produced a staggering 83 different whiskies within our range. Within our core releases and the Cask Craft, that this was the year 2023 was the year that the Cask Craft is its full year. Steve, hello, Merry Christmas to you and all of your whiskey gang. Yeah, it's been quite the year. 83 different whiskies. And this evening, I'm going to, Steve, good on you for joining in. This evening, I'm going to be showcasing some of my favorites of the year. I'm also going to be reflecting on some of the more memorable whiskey events of the calendar. There's been so many, which has been wonderful to be out there, sharing our drams, but of course, meeting you wonderful folk and sharing our creations. That's what it's all about. That's what I really love is, working on each and every creation for, each whiskey will have a different purpose, a different idea. And there's been 83 of them, absolutely mind-boggling to think. Now, ladies and gents, if you don't already have a dram in front of you this evening, I'm going to invite you to join me in pouring yourself one. I'm going to start off with one of my favorite pours of 2023. And I'm going straight for the Cask Craft. The Cask Craft for Murray McDavid has been an amazing, amazing addition. Our first venture, of course, into the world of non-age statement whiskies. But importantly, delivering the art of maturation, focusing on the cask finishes, but also breaking it down, breaking, all of the complex information that we have within our core ranges, putting that to a side for one moment and focusing on the important things in a whiskey, flavor. So you can see the sherry finish. We have Tullibardine, if you can make out there. Now, the distillery for these bottlings are, yes, important, but actually it isn't a main focus of the Cask Craft range. What we are really, really going to town on, as I say, the cask type and also the flavor delivery, chocolate and fruit. Woo, good Lord. And that chocolate and fruit has come into play partly, yes, because of the distillery character. We've got a really nice, light, elegant style of Tullibardine spirit. And as you can see on the back label, really, really proud that we've had a lot of good feedback this year on actually how we present information on the back label. We give a little bit of expectation of the distillery character, but also the cask influences as well. You can see here we have a marriage of PX Sherry and Oloroso. And that is a really, really lovely, lovely combination to achieve those Moorish chocolatey notes. And bottled at a very gentle, approachable, not intimidating strength of 44.5%. Oh, easy stuff. And of course, tasty. So yes, the Tullibardine sherry finish in the Cask Craft range is definitely one of my highlights for Murray McDavid of 2023. If you've enjoyed it at a whiskey festival, or if you've brought a bottle, then let us know. Type in the comments. Becca, who's working away in the background, she'll be moderating comments this evening and feeding them through. But if you're watching at a later date, then of course comment on the post, but also make sure you join our Murray McDavid Facebook group, the Murray McDavid Whiskey Club, where we host tastings throughout the year, free online tastings of our latest offerings. We had one, crikey, was it just last week or the week before? Time at this period of the year gets a little bit skewy because there's so much going on. Everybody's trying to cram everything in before the end of the year. Not to make us sound too unorganized, but it's the reality of the working year. I'm sure you've all been experiencing the same in your offices. So, other picks for me of 2023 actually is another Cask Craft, because considering the price point of around £34 a bottle, there's a hell of a lot of flavour going on in the Tullibardine sherry finish, but also the double finish here. And as you can see, we've described what casks we're using. Casks that have previously held ports, really rich, fruity, deep fruits of the port, and the bright, sweet fruits of the Madeira wine. And you can see the flavor proposition here, smoky and fruity, and just about make out the Crofton Gear, which isn't a distillery. It's actually a spirit type from Loch Lomond Distillery. It's their heavily peated offering. So when you combine those rich fruits of the port, the light, sweeter fruits of the Madeira, using a little bit of that viscosity from that sweet Madeira, carrying that peated malt, wonderfully rich style of dram. Balances nicely the sweet fruits and the younger peated malt of Crofton Gear. And as I say, at that mid £30 price point, ticks all the boxes for me. Ticks all the boxes for me. It's a lovely dram, that one. Oh, okay. Now, another dram which I think actually may be the dram that I've had most positive feedback with this year. It's not a Mission Gold whiskey. You would expect our 21-year plus whiskies to claim the top accolades and inspiring the most feedback, but I was so happy this year to see the amount of feedback with a whiskey from our Select Grain series. And if you've joined Whisky Wednesday before, or if you've joined us at a whiskey festival before, then you'll be familiar with our Select Grain series and how much work that we've put into that quite unconventional series in the landscape of Scotch whiskey. Because, of course, most independent bottlers really strive to be at the forefront of bottling single malt whiskies. And when they're not bottling single malts, generally, they might bottle single grain whiskies. They might do a few blends along the way. But the grains, historically, that would have been bottled by independents would have been those lovely, elegant, older styles of grains, maybe 25, 30, 35, even 40 years of age, which, of course, we do bottle, but those are presented within our Mission Gold series. Our Select Grain series really focuses on the younger styles of grain and quite unconventional. And as I always say, we don't wrap these up to try and present them as a similar product to what you would expect from a single malt whiskey. But this little beauty, the 11-year-old single grain from Girvan, just 11 years old, quite remarkable. You know, we started laying down young grain stocks back in 2015, and yeah, over the past 3 or 4 years, they've really starting to show how good they can be. And you know, I tend to use these younger grains to flirt with those people that might not have taken their strides into the world of Scotch whiskey, or for those people who, you know, might prefer a bourbon or something like a rum. You know, these younger grains, they don't have, of course, as much complexity as a malt of a similar age, but in terms of delivery of big, bold, rich flavors, of course, this is where our cask finishing, the art of maturation, comes into full swing. And as I bring this closer to the camera, you can see the cask finish here. Jimenez Spinola PX cask finish. Now, Jimenez Spinola, of course, are one of our cask partners, producers of some of the finest PX sherry in the world. Incredible, incredible stuff. The family have been producing Pedro Jimenez sherry since 1729. You know, cultivating different wines from this one grape variety. Very, very, very cool producer, and we're very proud to call them our cask partners. And 2024, there are some very, very big things to come with those cask partners, not just in the way of our whiskey offerings. My lips are sealed. My lips are sealed. Oh, lovely. But yes, the 11-year-old Girvan for me has been a really rewarding whiskey to have put out there, because A, it's delicious, but also yeah, the amount of feedback, and you'd be surprised, you guys watching at home, you'll be surprised how important your feedback to whiskey producers are, because, you know, it really sways the way that we think about how we produce our products. You know, if I'm at a whiskey festival, you know, I'm always asking, you know, forget Murray McDavid for a second. What kind of whiskies are you drinking at home? You know, what flavors are you really interested in? And you know, that's where we start to pick up the inspiration for our future bottlings and our future creations. So don't ever stop letting us know what you think or what you've seen interesting, because, you know, that's how we progress, that's how we innovate. Of course, you know, we have our own ideas and our own visions for certain things, but we can't ignore what you guys think, because these are all for you. These are all for you. So yeah, we want you next year to step up a little bit more and help us be a little bit yeah, let us know what you think, whether it's within our Whisky Creations group on Facebook, our whiskey group, I should say, on Facebook, or, you know, whether it's just on social media under certain posts. We have some very cool cocktail recipes as well for some of these products, certainly with the Cask Craft products, where they're a little bit more appropriate. The grain, by the way, the Girvan 11-year-old, if you have a bottle at home, highly recommend you try making an old-fashioned with that. I know some of the whiskey purists at home are wriggling yeah, probably hiding behind the sofa at this point. But if you are keen on exploring flavors, if you have somebody coming over this Christmas who might be a little bit afraid of, you know, the intensity of Scotch whiskey, and they like an old-fashioned, the Girvan grain. The Tullibardine, the sherry finish and the Cask Craft would also make really rich kind of coffee, chocolate forward style old fashioned. If you've ever made an old fashioned with a dark rum, you're in that similar kind of ballpark. Really, really rich and luscious and sweet. Whoa, wonderful. Okay, so we've covered a little bit of Cask Craft. We've covered a little bit of the select grain. One of the most unique bottlings, possibly the most unique bottling that we've produced this year is this little number. So looks a little bit different to the core Murray McDavid offerings. And that is because you might just about make it out. Let me just get my fingers into position. So on that foil band in the middle there, it reads Spirit of Speyside. So this was a single cask that we selected back in 2022 for the Spirit of Speyside this year. And of course, the Spirit of Speyside Whisky Festival for us this year was a whiskey event like we've never experienced. Quite an amazing year for Murray McDavid at the Spirit of Speyside Festival, as we were the official hosts of the opening events. And you may be familiar, some of you may have even joined. You may have seen that we hosted the opening events at Dallas Dew Distillery, which, again, it's the worst kept secret in the whiskey industry. But if you don't know, keep tuned in 2024, as we will be revealing a lot more information about Murray McDavid's connections to the temporarily closed Dallas Dew Distillery. I will leave it at that. But we hosted over the 5 days, I think there were 51 events that we hosted. Some within the building here where I'm streaming from tonight at Dallas Dew House over in Forest. In this very room, we hosted a whiskey dinner paired with some lovely, lovely drams. The room next door, I hosted a couple of blending workshops where people got to put their lab coats on and got really experimental and creative with combining different single malts, different cask influences, different grains, different bottling strengths, and temporarily, yes, Steve. We really got creative in the room next door, and there were some amazing blends that people produced. So I'm looking forward to doing that again in 2024. We're going to slightly shake up the format a little bit of that to keep it interesting for you whiskey guys and girls. So yeah, it promises to be another good year. One more hour in the warehouse and then home. Oh, right. Okay. James, is that me? Are you saying that you're still in the warehouse? We will be doing quite a few different experiences within our whiskey warehouses at Colburn next year. We hosted our Art of Maturation tours at Colburn, showing you the immense variety, epic variety of spirits maturing in an epic variety of different cask types. I keep harping on at events and tastings. You know, we have spirit dating back to 1964, from over 90 different origins of spirit, and you know, there's around 90 different origins of cask types as well. So, you know, those three factors, you consider the possibility of flavor development is really quite amazing. So come and see that on one of our art of maturation tours. I'll be doing a look back into the archive tastings as well. That went down very nicely this year. I think one of the standout drams was probably, was it the 1978 Boonahaven, finished in a Fino sherry cask. Bonkers drams on that thing. As you can imagine, you know, looking back from the 30 years of Murray McDavid's archives, there's some weird, wonderful, delightful, and epic drams in there to be enjoyed. So we'll be doing that again next year. But also, what I've got on the table here is actually a whiskey that was selected by two groups of people that came to join us on one of my Valinch tastings within Colburn, where we tasted, I think it was tasted whiskey from 5 different casks, 5 different single malts, 5 different cask types, 5 different ages, if I remember correctly. And I put the guys to work. I put the folks to work that came and joined us. So the brief really was to help me select our next single cask bottling that we would produce for the UK. And this little number is exactly that. The team selected a 14-year-old Glentockers that had spent the last 4 years in an Oloroso sherry hogshead. Wonderful, wonderfully rich, complex style of sherry, not overpowering that light, creamy, fruity style of Glentockers, but adding, you know, some real fruity, mocha, chocolatey, sweet spice notes into the dram. Lovely. We'll be doing that again in 2024, but always thinking about how we make it different. Spirit of Speyside, it seems a long way away. It's the first weekend of May this year, 1st to the 6th of May in 2024. But all of the events will be uploaded onto the Spirit of Speyside website at the end of January. I believe the preview for the tickets go on display. So yeah, make sure you've got that put into your diary, get the alarms going, because some of these events sell pretty quickly. So looking forward to sharing more of that in the new year, more information about the Spirit of Speyside. And tomorrow will be the day that I select 2024's bottling for the festival. Every year we bottle a single cask, and each year we try and select something that defies the expectation of what you would typically be familiar with as a single cask bottling. So, you know, we always look to push the age. We always look to challenge people's conceptions of older is better. Now, I know a lot of you out there are already on board with this idea. And this year's bottling was a 5-year-old single malt from Manickmore Distillery, and almost completely matured in a first fill Madeira wine cask, and hefty dram there. Big spirit, big spice, big sweetness, big fruits. This is bottle 199 of 331, ever produced at 54.7%. Lovely, 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 lovely. So the pressure is, how do we follow that up for 2024, which for Murray McDavid is a massive year. It's the year that marks our 30th anniversary as an independent bottler. And let's just say we've got a lot of interesting releases planned. Q1 2024, locked and loaded. The bottling plans are already sent to our bottling hall at Dandelith, just down the road from Macallan Distillery. If you're driving past from Aberlour up to Elgin, then give us a little wave. It's going to be on your right hand side. That it actually marks 2023 marks the first full year that we've been bottling at Dandelith, and it's where we generally bottle our smaller batch bottlings. Single casks, might be a vatting of a couple of casks, but yes, exciting times, absolutely. Will there be a 30-year-old special release? You know what, I've been asked this so many times. If we are going to be producing a 30-year-old to mark the 30th anniversary of Murray McDavid, and to me it just sounds a little bit obvious. To me it sounds a little bit obvious to do a 30-year-old for our 30th anniversary. I've got something a little bit more interesting planned. I hope you find it interesting anyway. Now, of course, you know, in our current iteration, we are under the umbrella of ACO Spirits, and we have been so since 2013. So, you know, we wanted, I certainly have been pushing to do something that is a little bit different, not just that commemorative 30-year-old, but actually taking a look back through the archives of Murray McDavid and looking at some kind of iconic bottlings that we've created historically, without giving too much away. I've only had 2 sips of the sherry finish, but I can already feel myself about to explode with all of these nuggets of these little secrets that we've got coming down the line. Let's just say there's going to be many bottlings, and yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a tilt of the cap to our previous Whisky Creations team, who were, you know, based at Bruichladdich. You know, the legends that are Jim McEwen, Gordon Wright, Simon Coughlin, Mark Rainier. There's going to be a little bit of a kind of a salute to the history of Murray McDavid, because of course when ACO purchased Murray McDavid 2013, we inherited some of the casks that the likes of Jim and Mark and Simon and Gordon would have been working on at Bruichladdich. So without making too many promises, there's going to be some of those casks that filter their way through into our releases next year. That's all I'm saying before you get me into trouble. Oh, did I say leapfrog? I don't know if I did, but anyways. Enough. So, yeah, of course I have to include a Mission Gold in one of my picks of the year, and I've selected this one, A, because of flavour, B, because of the kind of technicality of Whisky Creations here a little bit, but also, again, a little bit about the feedback. And that is the 25-year-old Lichik, which really quite a rare spirit at this age. So, you know, it's one of those casks that I've been watching in the warehouse at Colburn for quite some time, watching how that spirit is developing within the Margaux wine casks, the French red wine casks. And for me, this age of spirit, the complexity, the oiliness, and that peat is a really, really beautiful combination with the wine casks. But of course, you know, that French oak can be a little bit unforgiving if not kept an eye on. So, you know, it was a great, it was a weird one, because it was a great relief to see this leave the warehouse, because, you know, the spirits of this age and of this rarity within a warehouse can bring, well, you can lose sleep over these things. So now seeing it bottled and now seeing people enjoy it, and as a complete product, you know, it's really, really quite amazing. Yeah, beautiful dram, that one. Definitely one of the highlights of this year. Certainly won't be able to reproduce that in anytime soon. Let's put it that way. A real rarity. So those are my picks of probably not the most amazing or the pinnacle exemplars of what we have produced, but great for different reasons. And that's where we've really kind of matured into as a independent bottler, is, you know, not just doing one thing at a constant, but actually thinking about the diversity of drams, the affordability of drams, the availability of different whiskies. You know, it's been a really cool thing to be a part of this year, and you know, we're only going from strength to strength. So, I mean, for anybody and everybody that's come to join us at a whiskey festival this year, whether it's the Spirit of Speyside Festival, another one that I've jotted down, the Glasgow Whiskey Festival. Personally, my first time there this year, absolutely blown away by the whiskey community, the people that were just so immersed and so knowledgeable and so passionate about the industry. Really makes it an incredible industry to be a part of. So I'm going to raise a glass to that, folks. So here's to you at home as well, for you guys taking up your time on a Wednesday evening to listen to my ramblings with a dram in hand. Becca, here's to you, who's not feeling too great at the moment. So thank you very much for your efforts this evening. And it's been really wonderful to have you join the team so late on in this year and really take the ball by the horns. We're going to have a lot of fun in 2024. And also want to thank just the entirety of the Murray McDavid team, who, you know, make all of these wonderful bottlings possible. You know, without you guys, whether it's you know, our sales team, our bottling team, the logistics team, finance team, you know, all of you guys smashed it out of the park this year, and helped us deliver the 83 different whiskies that we have put forward for 2023. So we've set the benchmark for 2024. Are we going to up that number of 83 different whiskies for 2024? We shall see. It's going to be a tough ask, but we've got a lot of interesting, exciting, and delicious whiskies lined up, that's for sure. 20 of which are coming in March. We have a new Cask Craft series launching early next year as well. I think we've got 6 different whiskies in that new release, if I remember correctly. We have also some UK exclusives coming, and I know there's a lot of single cask bottlings exclusive to Germany, to the Netherlands, our friends over in the US. You've got some amazing exclusive whiskies coming your way, and what a year! What a year, ladies and gents. I'm going to call it there. Thank you to you at home. Thanks for joining us for all our events in 2023. Thanks to the Murray McDavid team for making it all happen. If I don't see you before, have a wonderful Christmas. Enjoy your New Year's, and eat lots, drink well, and just have fun. Cheers, guys. Lots of love. Ta-ra.